Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. It's me, your old friend, Dale Howard, your presenter. I am the Director of Education for Sensei Project Solutions. Couple of honors that have come my way. I'm currently one of only 64 Microsoft Project MVPs, or Most Valuable Professionals, in the entire world. I'm currently the co-author of 21 different books on Microsoft Project, Project Server, and Project Online. To date me a bit, I've used every version of Microsoft Project since version 4.0 for Windows 95, and I've used every version of Microsoft's PPM tool since it was introduced under the name of Project Central in the year 2000. I am speaking to you today live from my home office here in Wildwood, Missouri. I'm in a suburb of St. Louis. Little bit about our company. We are Sensei Project Solutions. We were Microsoft's 2014 Partner of the Year in PPM, and we were the only North American finalist in 2015. We live and breathe Project Server and Project Online. We've done hundreds of deployments of the PPM solution, trained thousands of project managers. I can tell you that in the last 3 weeks, I actually did training for project managers in Cincinnati, Ohio, Billings, Montana, and then this past week, I was doing training for the project managers. Where was I? Shoot, I don't even remember. I've been so many places. So anyway, we do truly have a global impact. We do have clients in 35 different countries. We have staff on 3 different continents. What makes our country unique, I do believe, is the depth and the breadth of the products and the services we offer. So if you are already a client of ours, we do thank you for your business. And if you're not already a client, we would encourage you to consider us as your PPM partner. All right, commercial is over, everybody. Oh, and by the way, I was in Austin, Texas last week. Lost my mind temporarily. Austin, Texas is where I was. All right, so let's get on with the webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, the webinar content is based on content from our best-selling book, Proactive PPM with Microsoft Project 2016 for Project Online and Project Server, co-authored by yours truly, Dale Howard. This webinar is meant to provide you with a foundational understanding of the purpose and the makeup of views, tables, filters, and groups in the Microsoft Project Desktop tool. What I'll be doing is taking you on a grand tour of commonly used views, tables, filters, and groups, and I also want to show you a nice trick on how to create a temporary combination view, also known as a split screen view. So the first thing I want to discuss with you is the Microsoft Project data model. There are 3 types of data in every Microsoft Project schedule. The 3 types of data are tasks, resources, and assignments. In Microsoft Project, if you want to see task data, you can apply a task view. From there, you can also apply different task tables, task filters, or task groups. If you want to look at resource data, you can apply a resource view. And while there, you can also apply different resource tables, filters, or groups. If you want to look at assignment data, you can see assignment data in 2 special assignment views. And depending on which you pick, you can either select task tables, task filters, or task groups, or resource tables, filters, and groups. Next question, what is a view? To the lay person, most project managers would say a view is a way of looking at our data. No problem with that definition. You can use that definition if you want. I'm in agreement with that. But if you were to ask Microsoft Project, what is a view? Here is the definition the software would show you. A view consists of a table, a filter, a group, and a screen. Now, this definition works for almost every view in Microsoft Project, but there are a few where this definition doesn't apply. Those are some very special views, but for almost every view in the software, a view consists of a table plus a filter plus a group plus a screen. Now, what is a table in Microsoft Project? A table is a set of columns, and this is the data displayed on the left side of the view. A filter is what displays the rows or highlights the rows of interest in the view. The group is what can organize the rows of data into different groups with similar attributes or characteristics. The screen is what you see over on the right side of the view. Commonly, you'll see a Gantt chart screen, a time-phased grid screen, or even no screen at all. So before I go any further, I just want to show you that I'm not making this up. So in Microsoft Project, if I go to the Gantt chart pick list button and go to more views, and in the More Views dialog, if I were to select a very common view, the Gantt chart view, and I click Edit, I want you to see with your own eyes that I'm not making up the definition of a view. According to Microsoft Project, a view consists of a table, there it is, a filter, there it is, folks, a group, there it is, and lastly, a screen. So there are the four elements of every view: a table plus a filter plus a group plus a screen. See, I'm not making this up. All right, so what is a view? Let's talk about this just a little bit further. In Microsoft Project, there are actually two different types of views. They're known as single views and combination views. A single view fills the entire screen. Two common examples are the Gantt chart view and the resource sheet view. Think about them. They fill the entire screen. A combination view, also known as a split view or split screen view, consists of two views, each of which is displayed in its own viewing pane. There's an upper viewing pane with one view, a lower viewing pane with another view. Two common combination or split screen views are known as the task entry view and the Gantt with timeline view. So let's go ahead and look at some commonly used views in Microsoft Project. The first one you probably already know is the Gantt chart view. That is the default view in every new project in Microsoft Project. Now, while we're in the Gantt chart view, I'm going to go over to the right-hand side of the view ribbon. Want you to notice there's a split view section, and if I select the details checkbox, what Microsoft Project will display is a view known as the task entry view. In the task entry view, we can select a task in the top pane, and Microsoft Project will display information about the resources assigned in the task form pane in the bottom. In my humble opinion, this is one of the two most powerful views in Microsoft Project. This is the view where I recommend that you assign resources to tasks. Reason for that is, in the bottom pane, you can select one or more resources, specify a units value for each resource, enter either a work value for each resource over an overall duration for the entire task, and Microsoft Project will calculate the other value. So if you enter units and work, the software will calculate the duration. If you enter units and duration, the software will calculate the work. So that's called the task entry view. Now I'm going to show you a little trick here. If you put your mouse pointer anywhere in the white part of the Gantt chart pane, you can do a right mouse click, and then at the bottom of the shortcut menu, you can either choose Show Split, that will give you the task entry view, or you can right click and choose Show Timeline, and this will give you a special default view included with the software. It's called the Gantt with Timeline view. So you see the Gantt chart in the bottom pane, and in the top pane, the timeline pane, you can create your own timeline view of major tasks in the project. All right, so let's close out of that. And now I want to go to the task ribbon. In the task ribbon, I'm going to click the Gantt chart pick list button, and I want to show you the second of what I believe are the two most powerful views in Microsoft Project. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the tracking Gantt view. In this view, you will commonly see red Gantt bars that represent the critical path, blue Gantt bars that represent non-critical tasks, and gray Gantt bars representing the original baseline schedule of the project. So if I scroll over here and down a bit, let's see if we can find some red Gantt bars so you know that I'm not making it up. Yep, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's part of the critical path. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the two most powerful views in Microsoft Project. This is the view you should apply every week after you've statused your project with progress. You can do this in Microsoft Project desktop-only projects. If your project has been statused using Project Server or Project Online, then you should always go to this view to see if your project is slipping. This is the view that can give you bad news. It can tell you your project is slipping. Now let's continue our tour of views, and let me show you one of the two usage or assignment views in Microsoft Project. This view is called the Task Usage View. This is a task view that also shows assignment information. On the left, you can see the complete work breakdown structure for every task, but underneath each task, indented and italicized, you'll also see the resource assignments, or the resources assigned to the tasks. Over on the right, you don't see a Gantt chart. Instead, you see what is known as a time-phased grid. The time-phased grid will show you items like work and cost phased over time. Right now, we're looking at work hours phased at the weekly time level. Let's look at some more commonly used views. If I go to the resource ribbon, I can click the Team Planner Pick List button. Now, by the way, if you're using Microsoft Project Standard, then you will not see a Team Planner Pick List button. You'll see a Resource Sheet Pick List button. If you have the professional version, you'll see the Team Planner Pick List button. So on the Team Planner Pick List menu, if we look at the Resource Sheet view, ladies and gentlemen, here are all of the resources in my project. You can clearly see that I have different types of resources. I've got work resources, cost resources, and even material resources. So I've got quite a mixed bag of resources because this is a construction project. If I go back to the Team Planner Pick List button, I can also choose the Resource Usage view. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second of the two special assignment views in Microsoft Project. In this view, you can see every resource on the left side of the screen, indented and italicized below each resource. You can see the task assignments. In other words, the tasks assigned to this resource. Over on the right, you don't see a Gantt chart. Instead, you see a time-phased grid that can show you items like work or cost phased over time. Right now, we're looking at the work hours phased at the monthly time level. And now if I go back one more time, I can also choose the special view known as the Team Planner view, the Team Planner view. The Team Planner view, again, is only available if you are using the professional version of Microsoft Project. But if you do have the professional version, in the Team Planner view, the software displays each resource on the left, but on the right, it displays Gantt bars showing you all of the tasks assigned to each resource. It's a pretty cool view. It's especially useful in diagnosing resource overallocations and even leveling overallocations as well. So if I go back to the view ribbon, I did want to point out to you that on the left end of the view ribbon, there are two sections labeled task views and resource views, where you have pick lists that will show you the most common types of views. So if you click the Gantt chart pick list button, it'll show you two commonly used Gantt chart views, which are the default Gantt chart and tracking Gantt. If you choose task usage, it'll show you views that are based off the task usage screen and so forth. Alrighty, let's go back to the regular Gantt chart view and let's continue the PowerPoint. Some of the most commonly used views we've just looked at, folks. Directions, again, are to click any view pick list button, and in either the task, resource, or view ribbons, and then pick the view you want to see. Commonly used task views, we looked at these. Commonly used resource views, we looked at these as well. Now, let's talk about what is a table. In Microsoft Project, everybody, this is worth memorizing. A table is a collection of columns. Every collection is given a name that roughly describes the type of data that you will see in the table. For example, if I was to display the cost table, you might surmise correctly that the software will display all cost-related columns. To apply a table, you can click the Tables Pick List button in the Data section of the View ribbon. Here's a trick for you as well. The fastest way to display a table is to right-click on the Select All button and then pick your table off the shortcut menu. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. So here are some commonly used tables I'd like to show you. Task tables. We'll look at the entry, cost, work, variance, and tracking tables. Resource tables, we'll look at entry, cost, and work. So in the View ribbon, ladies and gentlemen, in the middle of the View ribbon, there is a Tables Pick List button. And on the Tables menu, you'll see the most commonly used tables. So if I were to pick the Cost table, need to pull my split bar over to the right, but there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There are all of the relevant cost-related columns in the cost table. You've got fixed cost accrual, total cost, baseline cost, cost variance, actual cost, and remaining cost. If I were to choose the work table, ladies and gentlemen, you see all of the relevant work-related columns for each task. We've got the work, baseline work, work variance, actual work, remaining work, and percent work complete columns. If we go to the variance table, this table, the main focus of your use should be the last two columns, start variance and finish variance. And what you can see in this table is any tasks that are slipping and how badly they're slipping. Right now, I do have slippage on some of the tasks, but overall, the project is going to finish 1 day early. So the slippage isn't running all the way downstream to the end of the project. If you ever need to manually enter progress in your Microsoft Project Schedule, for example, if you're not using Project Server or Project Online, or not using the timesheet capabilities of those PPM tools, you can use the tracking table for this purpose. In the tracking table, you'll see all of the relevant columns in which you might want to enter progress. I recommend using actual start and actual finish, plus either percent complete, actual duration, remaining duration, actual work. You might even need to insert the remaining work column. And then lastly, let's go back to our original table, that is the task entry table. And now let's go ahead and look at a few resource tables. To do this, I'm going to apply the resource sheet view. You can only apply resource tables in a resource view. That's why I had to pull up the resource sheet view. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's the trick. Immediately above the first row ID number in any task or resource view, you'll find a blank button. This is the same button you would find in exactly the same location in Excel. This is the Select All button. Same name in Microsoft Project as in Excel. The trick is this: if you right mouse click anywhere on the Select All button, Microsoft Project will give you the quick list of the most commonly used tables of that type. So if I were to select the cost table, here is the cost columns, all of the relevant cost columns for each of the resources in our project. If I right-click and choose the work table, here are all of the work-related columns for each resource. And if I right-click again and choose the entry table, that takes us back to the default table displayed in the resource sheet view. So let's go back to the regular Gantt chart view. I'll pull my split bar to the right edge of the duration column. Back to our PowerPoint. Next topic I want to talk with you about, what is a filter? In Microsoft Project, a filter is what displays or highlights only the rows that meet your filtering criteria. Microsoft Project allows you to filter two different ways. The first method is using a standard filter. When you apply a standard filter, Microsoft Project will only display the rows that meet your filtering criteria. You can also apply a filter as a highlight filter. When you do this, Microsoft Project will display every row, but it will highlight using yellow cell background color the rows that meet your filtering criteria. Now, to apply a filter as a standard filter, you'll click the Filter Pick List button in the Data section of the View ribbon. To apply a highlight filter, you'll click the Highlight Pick List button in the same section of the View ribbon. Now, let's talk about commonly used filters. Here's a few that I have used regularly over time. Task filters, I often use the using resource ... filter. That's called an interactive filter. I've also used the summary tasks filter, the milestones filter, and there's a new filter. It's one of about 11 or so introduced in the 2013 version of Microsoft Project Desktop. It's also in the 2016 version. Task Starting Soon is one of the new filters introduced beginning in the 2013 version that is what we call a date sensing filter. It can determine the filter, the tasks to display on the fly using whatever is the start date that is set in the project. Some commonly used resource filters are resources cost, resources material, and resources work. So let me show you these filters, everybody. If I go to the Filter Pick List button in the Data section of the ribbon, here's the commonly used list of task filters. I'm going to choose using resource ... That's an interactive filter, which is why it displays a dialog, because it wants to know who do I want to filter for. So I'm going to say I want to use the DH labor crew, the DH labor crew. My friends, here are all of the tasks assigned to the resource called DH labor crew. Notice the software displays all of the tasks assigned to this resource, but as a courtesy, it also displays the summary tasks so you can see the complete work breakdown structure. Now, I'm going to press the F3 function key on my computer keyboard. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to jot this down, the F3 function key is the shortcut key to remove the filter you have currently applied. Now let me show you how to display a highlight filter. I'm going to use the same filter again using resource ... I'm also going to pick the DH labor crew again, but notice, ladies and gentlemen, all of the tasks continue to be displayed, but now the tasks assigned to the DH labor crew are highlighted in yellow. I like to use highlight filters when I'm analyzing variance in a project. It helps to spot troubled sections of a project. Now let's go ahead and show some of the other commonly used task filters. First one is called summary tasks. That is a built-in filter that will display only the summary tasks on your project. Very nice way to display a high-level view of your project to stakeholders or executives. Another commonly used built-in view is called milestones. This will display all of the milestones in the project, but it will also display the summary task for each milestone as well, so you can see the work breakdown structure. Now, before I display the next filter, I want to show you that to simulate how this filter would work, I've set the current date of the project out in the future. We're going to pretend that today is Monday, December the 4th, 2017. Today's Monday, December the 4th, 2017. So what I would like to do is see any tasks that are scheduled to start this week. To do this, I'll go to the Filter Pick List button, and I have to choose More Filters. This is where you'll find the 11 or so new filters that were introduced in Microsoft Project 2013. There is a new filter called Tasks Starting Soon that will read the current date of the project and then show me any task scheduled to begin this week. So if I click Apply, ladies and gentlemen, and let me zoom in so you can see this with your own eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, the thin green line here would represent today. So we're pretending today is Monday, December the 4th. there would be 2 tasks that would be scheduled to start work this week. So that's one of these new date sensing filters that is included in Microsoft Project 2013 and is also part of Microsoft Project 2016. Let's look at a couple resource filters. Some of the commonly used resource filters are resources cost. This shows me only the cost resources in my project. If I display resources work, this will show me only the work resources. That's normally humans and generics. And if I choose resources material, this will show me the consumables in my project. All right, let's go back to the Gantt chart view and back to our PowerPoint as well. Next, let's talk about a group. Ladies and gentlemen, what is a group? A group is used to organize task rows or resource rows into groups with similar attributes or characteristics. To apply a group, you click the Group by Pick List button in the Data section of the View ribbon. Some of the commonly used groups in Microsoft Project, there's a couple task groups called Critical and Status. Those are okay. We'll take a look at them. There's also a couple resource groups called Resource Types and another one called Assignments Keeping Outline Structure. That one you can only apply in the Resource Usage view. So let's take a look at some groups. In Microsoft Project, if I'm in a task view, I could choose a view called, or to choose a grouping called critical, and it will group all tasks into 2 groups to show you whether the tasks are critical tasks or non-critical tasks. There's another default grouping called status that will group on a column called status. And the 4 groups that will display, I only see 3 of them here. There can be potentially 4 groups. They're the complete tasks, the unscheduled tasks, the late tasks, and lastly, future tasks. All right, let me remove the filtering using Clear Group. And now let's go to the Resource Usage view. Let's go to the Resource Usage view. And I want to group by resource type. Resource type. So ladies and gentlemen, what I can see are all of the tasks assigned to the 3 different types of resources: work, material, and cost. Now, for the moment, let's go ahead and look at just the work resources. And what I want to show you is a very, very special view. One of the limitations of the resource usage view, it's a great view. It shows you every resource plus the tasks they're assigned to, but it doesn't show you the work breakdown structure or summary tasks for each task. Ladies and gentlemen, the way around that limitation is to go to resource usage and apply a very special built-in group called Assignments Keeping Outline Structure. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. I can see the name of every resource. Indented below the name of the resource, I can see the tasks and the summary tasks. That's what's highlighted in blue. So that's the very special Assignments Keeping Outline Structure. So let's remove the grouping and the filtering, and I want to go back to the Gantt chart view one final time. Final topic, ladies and gentlemen. Even though we're 5 minutes over, I hope you can stay for a few minutes extra. I want to show you how to create a temporary combination view. what you can do is create any combination view temporarily on the fly by doing the following. Pick the view that you want to display in the top pane. Then select the Details checkbox in the Split View section of the View ribbon. Then you're going to click the Details Pick List button that is to the right of the checkbox, and you'll select the new view that you want to see in the bottom pane. Now here's my recommendation for you. Here is an excellent view for analyzing dependencies. If you display the Gantt chart view in the top pane and a special view called the relationship diagram view in the bottom pane, you can select any task in the top pane and you can see all of its direct predecessors and successors in the bottom pane. So let me show you how to do this, and this will be our final tip before we break for questions. So in the View ribbon, Split View section, if I select the Details checkbox, this is called the Task Entry View, Gantt chart in the top pane, task form in the bottom pane. But now what I want to do is display something different in the bottom pane. I want to display the relationship diagram view. So ladies and gentlemen, if I select task number 7 in the top pane, I can see this task has one direct predecessor, but it also has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 direct successors. If I scroll to the next task, 1 direct predecessor, 2 direct successors, and if I select task number 9, 3 direct predecessors, but no direct successors for that task. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to our GoToWebinar window, and I'm anxious to see if anybody has any questions. So let's do our questions now, and let's see here. Khaled asks, how can I generate a WBS for my column? Khaled, Microsoft Project will do that for you automatically. What you can do is insert the WBS column in any task view, The software will automatically calculate the WBS for you, Khaled, and it'll use its own default numbering system. Matt McDonald asks, where do I click to download the presentation? Matt, very good. Matt, if you look in the GoToWebinar window or pane, you'll see there is a section called Handouts, and in the Handouts section, you can go ahead and drag and drop, or you can choose, you can click on my Views, Tables, Filters, and Groups Sensei Webinar PDF. If you just click that, it'll let you download the PDF of the presentation. Christy Frankel says, no questions, thank you. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, you have been a great group here today. Thank you very, very much for attending our webinar. We'll see you next month. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.